a lot of times as safety people, we see things, right? And we know they're a problem. Or as employees, we see things, we know they're a problem, and we do some of the same stuff that we see the employees do. Right? They're not going to fix it. Right? It's too big of a problem. They don't care. Management's an issue. The question I want you guys to ask yourselves is, are you willing? What's your name? Chuck. Chuck, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to go to the hospital and visit a worker who's got, an illness because you didn't say something? I mean, think about that. Think about, you go to the hospital and you talk to somebody, you talk to somebody's spouse and you say, ma'am, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry that your husband's sick, but, I could have said something, but I didn't think it would matter anyway. Are you willing to do that?
No.
Then why do we ignore stuff? What's your name?
Benjamin.
Benjamin? I'm going to pick on you now, Benjamin. Are you willing to go home and look at your parents in the eye and say, you know what, somebody got killed today because I just kept my mouth shut? You say, but we do it every day, right? We don't speak up. So my question is, what are you guys willing to live with? What are you willing to not do? Because every time we don't say something, that's the question we need to ask ourselves, right? That is the question that we take with us, is what are we willing to do? Are you willing to go to a funeral? Are you willing to go to the hospital? Are you willing to look a loved one in the eye and say, you know what? I screwed up. I should have said something. I could have said something. I didn't say something. And they got hurt because I didn't speak up. Now, granted, they might not have done what I said, but you know what? They might have. Is that something you're willing to live with for the rest of your life, to think about that? Because I guarantee you, if you've ever been involved with an accident, if you've ever been involved with an injury where you feel like you could have done something different, you will take that with you for the rest of your life. And are you willing to do that? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Because look, here's the deal. We gave you guys a lot of information today, right? And it's a lot of easy stuff to fix. Are you willing to use it? What's important to you? You have kids?
Yep.
Boys or girls?
Both.
Both? You have a daughter? How old's your daughter?
9.
9. Oh, 9. She still likes you.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Shots fired.
So as a dad, right? You picture walking her down the aisle one day?
I do.
Okay. Something that as a dad you want to do, right? You willing to give that up?
No.
You willing to say, you know what, hon? I can't walk you down the aisle. I'm going to have to roll you down the aisle in a wheelchair because I don't have the lung capacity because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. You willing to give that up?
No.
You willing to have that conversation with her? You willing to look her in the eye and tell her that?
No.
Then you know what? You need to have that conversation with your workers. Okay, because every time they go into that, that's what they're taking the risk of giving up.
Because that didn't happen overnight.
No.
That happened with people walking by it day after day after day after day and not saying anything.
This is, see something, shut up about it.
Yeah.
And you know what? And what we've learned is it's not just the employees. It's the work. It's it's the safety people too. It's, guys, look, we got to take a stand, right? You have to stand up and fight for the folks, right? Hutch, are you willing? Well, what do you fight for?
Absolutely not. I mean, it's were any of you at my presentation yesterday? So, I mean, and you heard that I got into and stayed in this business because I'm not willing to give this up. You saw, those of you that were there saw this slide yesterday. I recently, and this slide is a work in progress. I've used this for a while. I put different pictures up there. The most recent addition was the one right in the middle of the bottom. I talked about, being, kind of a science geek, loving that stuff, and taking a stand. My first job out of college was at a nuclear power plant. And in 2 years, they had 2 fatalities, one of them multiple. And I realized I didn't want to ever go through that again. And, that's why I'm in the occupational safety and health field. And like I said, that bottom picture, walking Emily down the aisle, July 26th of last year, not going to give up for anything. And, and everything there, we go out on the plant floor. And, we're only going to be out there 20 minutes. Employees have to wear hearing protection, but we're not going to be out there. I'm going to wear hearing protection because love going to concerts. That picture on the top right, my son and I are, any scouts, Boy Scouts in the house. It's top of Mount Baldy, 12,400 feet. You don't get up there unless your lungs are working. So all of those pictures that you saw of the dusty batch houses and all of those other areas, going to wear my respirator. I'm going to be clean shaven. I'm going to do all those things and lead by example and expect people to do that as well, because I'm not willing to go through that myself. And that's the reason I do this job, and that's the reason that I think passion can be an overused word. You can talk about passion all you want, but the are you willing piece is putting that passion into action. Because you can talk about it all you want. You can put it on your resume, passionate professional. But you know what? Don't tell me, show me. And I think for me, that's what the Are You Willing message is all about. What about you, Rich?
Well,
are you willing?
Let me show you my, okay. I don't know what's going on here. Well, I'm going to have to go a little off script. So, Heidi, stand up. That's my Are You Willing? That's my wife, Heidi, okay? I didn't get to walk her down the aisle. I got to meet her. That's my Are You Willing? That's my beautiful wife, all right? I wouldn't give her up for anything, all right? That's why I say something, because I don't want to look her in the eye and say, you know what, I screwed up, all right? I have to live a good life for her. I have to do this for her, right? Michaela, stand up. My daughter, Michaela, I got to walk her down the aisle, okay? Wouldn't have given that up for anything, all right? So that felt like 5 years ago. I think it was 2. So yeah, that's my Are You Willing? Grace. This is my daughter, Grace, 23 years old. Just started with the company, all right? That's my family. That's part of my family, all right? That's my girls, all right? That's my Are You Willing, all right? That's family dinners, that's picnics, that's vacations, that's work, all right? Guys, look, one of these days I hope to get to walk Grace down the aisle. Oh, maybe not. She's starting to like me again, so. Yeah, no, maybe not. I don't know. It's up to her. But, I get to spend lots of memories with all of them. And it's because I don't do stupid things. And I get to look them in the eye, and I get to be proud of myself because I say something. All right, so again, the Are You Willing? What are you willing to do with the information you took today? Because I guarantee you, your systems need problems or need work, okay? And they're easy fixes. You guys can sit down now, so, they need work. So take the information back and do something with it, man. All right? You know, you don't necessarily need somebody like us to make the easy fixes.